Hello and welcome to another SNG session review. This is Spinoz for PokerStrategy.com, playing $11 SNGs today. To the upper right, I limped my pocket fours on set value as I would do with any pocket here, although I'm very often out of position. Sorry. On the other hand, my opponents will give away their chips just way too often when I hit my set, and therefore I think it's okay to limp any pocket from any position. Yeah, Morricone raised without the overcall by Jaw B. I wouldn't call on set value anymore because I don't have the implied odds I need. Yeah, but with the overcall, it's just an easy decision to overcall. Call 15. I had to call 160 chips. That 15 times makes 2,400 divided by 2, because I have 2 opponents, means that I need to have 900 chips left on both other opponents, and well, as you can see, they have twice as many chips, so that call on set value should be easily plus EV. Okay, the flop for us means we have an easy decision, and that is to check fold. Okay, an overbet. What could that mean? That could mean a draw, just be a bluff, or a monster hand. And I think I would prefer not to find that out with a marginal hand, especially not when he was raising from an early position. And there you can see the big problem when playing King-Queen after a raise. You're very often dominated, and in his eyes that overbet looked like a bluff or something. And yeah, he was donating his whole stack here. And well, another problem with King Queen is, do you really want to muck it when hitting top pair? You're just outkicked by one hand, and yeah, I don't know. It's not what you want to happen. Yeah, and therefore I think folding pre-flop a hand like King Queen suited is a must-do. This is the perfect example for such a situation you don't want to be in, and especially against an early position raise. King Queen suited is just crap because you're dominated by Ace King and Ace Queen. Ace Jack is not a hand you should, or most opponents, raise from early position. And yeah, then he's flipping against jacks, but he hits the flop every third time, so he will give up to most Conti bets against jacks or tens. And yeah, against queens, kings, and aces, he's just crashed and gets reversed implied odds, as well as against ace king and ace queen. And therefore, please don't make such stupid calls especially not against early position raises. Against someone very loose in a later position, you can make that call as long as you're in position, but that's not the scenario where you should do it. Okay, I will jump now to the next interesting hand. Okay, that one might not be that interesting because it's pretty easy to play. But let's see. Yeah, in my eyes it's a must re-raise here in this case. I don't want two people to outdraw me. Against one single opponent and when being in position, I would think about just cold calling, but out of position and against two opponents, that are two reasons to re-raise here. So I decided to make a small re-raise this time for two reasons. First one is I give KDM just got better odds done and then he probably cannot mark a hand like ace-king or ace-queen when I'm raising to just 500 chips. On the other hand, Maurer, that short stack, will see weakness in that raise very often, and those short stacks or mediocre stacks are very often pretty desperate and try to make strange moves to get chips anyhow. And yeah, therefore I tried to re-raise here. Small, so I think about a re-raise size of 500 chips is fine, because yeah, they have to call 320 chips so they would have 1, 2, 3 odds to call me. That's just way too good here to fold a hand like ace-king or I don't know, jacks, hands like that. Yeah, 510. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, he was thinking about it. If he's a good player and he knows that Maurer will push very often against his call, then he probably did the best thing possible, because when he's calling there with ace-king, Maurer pushes and I'm re-pushing, then I was sucking him into the pot with ace-king or something where he's in pretty bad shape, and that's what I tried to do here when just making that small re-raise, that KTM calls, Maurer pushes, I re-push, and KTM is committed. And yeah, that was the goal. It did not work the way I wanted to work, but of course that cannot happen all the times. But still, winning 1,000 chips during the early stages is not the worst case. Yeah, to the bottom right, 1, 2, 2.5 odds. I have to call with ace-9 there. And to the upper left, ace-queen might be interesting. I can't remember the hand anymore. It's just a normal first in raise. Okay, that's it. So I will skip the next uninteresting hands and go to the next one where you can learn something. Okay, another ace-queen. Of course you have to steal raise here. Against KTM, well, you see his stats, 43 VPIP is almost 30 PFR. That could mean that he's re-stealing or re-raising a lot of hands too, and therefore I really I'm really in trouble when he's re-pushing me, because I still could be ahead here with my ace-queen suited. I'm happy that it did not happen, and well, I still think that I would mark it against the re-raise, because those people very often make raises, but they very often on this limit do not know what a re-raise is. So you can put them on pretty tight, on a pretty tight range when re-raising. Okay, a loose opponent called me. Of course I have to make a continuation bet. The problem is, well, it's not the problem, but way too often he did not hit anything, and I can take down the pot here, and that's my main goal. And yeah, because he's that loose, that absolutely makes sense. I would, and even against a tight player, I would make a continuation bet there. He called me. The turn doesn't really make the situation any better. He could have a 10. That's nothing he would muck. Here he could have 6-7. I don't know whether he would fold that now. He could have Jack 9 and made the straight. He could have 9-7 and have an opener in that straight draw. Yeah, I just don't know where I'm at the moment. I could be behind against a lot of hands, and I don't see a lot of hands that would muck when firing a second barrel. And yeah, therefore I decided to check behind and give up the hand, except when hitting a top pair on the river. Okay, and that's the worst card possible. Every pair beats me, every 9 got a straight, and every 4, yeah, there's nothing I can do now than mucking in my hand. And yeah, to the bottom left, Queen 7, although I've hit mid-pair, but against 6 opponents it was, I think. It's just better to fold here. Okay, let's go to the next hand. To the upper left, that might just be interesting to see. I got Ace-Jack on MP3, that's an easy push, although even with 11 big blinds. But yeah, the hand is just too strong to be folded here. And raise, well, does commit me anyway, so push is the best option here. He calls me with pocket 10s. Well, I think I'm pushing their pocket 5 and upwards. Yeah. And aces to ace. Eight, I think. Ace 8 suited, ace 7 suited, ace 9 off, something like that. So he might be a slight favorite here with pocket 10s, although it's close to a flip. Yeah, he makes that call. We're in a spot where he could fold as well, because we'll have more than 10 big blinds, therefore I should be a bit tighter than my usual pushing range from that position with 10 or less. And yeah, I can understand the call because it's a pretty strong hand on this limit, but against me it's just a flip, and there I think he can muck as well. Yeah, it's just close. I don't want to say that it's a mistake there to call there with pocket 10s. I just want to tell you that it's not a must call in this situation against a very tight player, especially because you have a good stack left and you can wait for better spots. He decided to call. Shit happens. And yeah, I'm almost out of the sit and go then. Of course I have to call with any 2 cards now in the big blind. So let's see what happened. Can't remember anymore. That's probably the comeback table. I think so, yeah. Yeah, he's been raising there. Anyway, I'm committed there with any 2 cards. To the upper right. Okay, yeah, let's discuss the one to the upper right first. He's raising a lot of hands here. That he got aces or kings is pretty unlikely, because I got a king and an ace myself. And I could have fold equity against hands like 8s, 9s, and of course, well, maybe I probably have fold equity against ace-jack or something like that too. But well, with my ace-king I'm ahead here in the situation, and I can win 450 chips, which is almost a quarter of my stack. So it's a nice push here, and yeah, I like that's just standard to re-steal here. Well, although it's not a re-steal, it's more a value push, because our hand is not strong. A re-steal would probably be with weaker hands, but okay. To the upper left, king queen against that button raise. I was thinking about it for some time. His raise could mean a lot of hands. On the other hand, do I really want to play my king queen there. That 4 big blind raise looked like at least an ace to me, so I thought to be behind. There is a bit of dead money in the pot, but yeah, I did not really see a good spot here, and I was just hoping for a better one where I can push first in, and therefore I decided to muck. And yeah, to the upper right, I thought to have fold equity against such a hand. If he calls me with that hand, I don't care. Thank you for the chips. And yeah, here's my pocket. You can give me your money. And that's the reason why it's that easy to play $11 sit and goes, because some people just can't fold any hands they have invested chips with. Yeah, I will skip a few hands now. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. To the upper left, I decided to push my 7-4 suited. Of course, that's not the best hand to do so. On the other hand, when folding that king-queen hand before, I have to push in this spot, because this is the spot where I have a bit more fold equity than from under the gun, and the opponents I'm pushing into are way tighter. And in case I get called, the usual thing, I have suck out equity because I can hit a straight, a flush, 2 pair, I have very often live cards, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I decided to push it right here. On the other hand, you could argue as well it's better to call there with king queen, because you're still, well, you're probably more often flipping against his range. Maybe you're a slight favorite there, so that wouldn't be the worst case scenario as well. But I prefer pushing to calling, but I think that's a matter of style. You really can do both. Yeah, I decided to fold there and make loose pushes later on. You can do it the other way around as well, to call loose and push tighter than later on. But, well, I know that I'm hitting when I'm pushing, so that's probably the better decision. And with pocket deuces I have another easy push there, 5-handed. But this time with less than 10 big blinds, otherwise I would probably muck here. To the upper right, I'm still raising ace-jack. And yeah, that one worked. Okay, no interesting hands at the moment, so I will skip a few again. Okay, to the upper left, I have stolen a few chips during the last orbits, just no-brainer hands like pocket 9s on the button, ace-7 in the cutoff, so nothing really interesting. I hope it was okay to delete them. Yeah, so that's how I got that stack. With ace-9 here, one could definitely call a push by the button raiser. He was very, very tight so far. And on the other hand, I could really push a lot of hands during the last few orbits, where everyone folded, and I thought that when having that fold equity later on, it might make more sense to fold here and push loose later on, because at the moment everyone is folding a lot of hands, instead of making a call where I am just a slight favorite. But again, I would say that's it really matters how you want to play it. My arguments here you've heard. It definitely is not a mistake to call there because it's plus V, and well, why shouldn't you make a plus if you call? Yeah, I thought it's a marginal situation. It's slightly plus EV, but still marginal, and yeah, therefore I prefer to fold here. But as I mentioned, one can definitely call here. To the upper right, ace-10 is an easy shove, and to the bottom left, I really thought about it, especially because his stats were pretty strange. 35 VPIP, 2% PFR. On the other hand, I thought he wouldn't min-raise. Would he min-raise a strong hand? Well, I thought he was just loose, and therefore I thought my tens were good, and I was shoving. On the other hand, one could mark that hand to the bottom right. Pushing for 13 big blind is not a mistake there with a6, but calling king jack, therefore 13 big blinds is 1. So yeah, bad luck this time, I think. Or did I catch up? No. And yeah, to the upper left you might see, oh, ace-10, sorry. Yeah, usually they have been very tight. This time he called me with ace-queen. That does not really tell me that I'm wrong here with my read. Ace-queen is a monster hand in this situation. So, yeah, just bad luck, I would say. But the idea not to call that ace-9 and to push loose later on was okay, I think. Yeah, to the upper right. I think I could call everyone's push except one by Morricone. Yeah, because those shorties have to push almost any ace, and out of the small blind he can push a pretty wide range there, everything that's better than average. And they're a big favorite with ace-jack. Yeah, to the bottom left. See, he was loose. And well, I'm grateful for his money, and I've shown him the pocket where to put it into. Said thank you, and went to the next hand. Okay, upper right for 10 big blinds. That's an easy one. I would shove down to ace-5 and any ace suited. And yeah, to the bottom left, well, with my stack it's a bit hard to play a hand like ace-queen. I still think that it's strong enough to raise, most likely to steal the blinds, but in case one of those shorties pushes me, I have to call it as well. So therefore their pushing range should be very, very tight, because I have a tight open raising range. And here to the bottom right, everything better than average is good enough for me to push for 10 big blinds. And queen 8 is way better than queen 5. Yeah, and sorry, back to the table. To the bottom left, he should re-push me very tight, but still, if I know that he gets ace-king there, I can call, because I have 2.4 to 1 odds, and I need 1 to 2 at least to have yeah, to be in a break-even situation. And on this limit, I think way too often they make a mistake when re-raising there and overplaying some hands. So I had to call it. Pocket 8s. I don't know whether he has seen fold equity or what. I did not really like it, because against my open raising range he's behind. I'm raising nines there and ace queen. Those are the only hands I would play like that. Sorry, I would play like that. So that means he's either 50-50 or he's way behind. Well, if he wants to burn his money, I don't have a problem with it. My repushing range there would be way tighter or something like tens would be close. Tens maybe because I'm short, but that really would be the worst hand. With jacks I would easily push jacks and ace king, and ace queen again is a muck. Yeah, ace king, pocket jacks, maybe pocket tens with a loose read, but that's it. Okay, and again I will skip a few hands because I don't want to annoy you with stupid hands where I'm folding. To the bottom right, as you can see, I'm going to call. I did so because, well, at the moment we're still far away from the bubble, and in this situation I thought he would be one of those guys who's aggressive, because I had tights that's from earlier stages, and I thought therefore he would be loose later on, and then I have an easy call then with ace 9, because I'm way too often ahead, and yeah, I was ahead this time, slight favorite. And well, on the other hand, here in this scenario when folding there, yeah, it might be that I'm one of the short stacks on the bubble, and that's nothing I really want to be, because My Lady is the next one to bust, and the other two guys would have more chips than me then. It's hard for me to push into Shiva because she or he can call me very loose, and therefore I have to push very tight, and that's what would make the situation very ugly for me. And therefore I prefer to call there with ace 9 where I'm favored, and that changes the situation as well. Now I'm second in chips, My Lady's going to bust soon, and then I'm already in the money, and that makes the whole thing way easier. Yeah, 8-4 out of position. I prefer to mug such a hand, especially against the big stack who could play loose. To the upper right, ace 3. I have a lot of fold equity in this situation on the big stack here, and we're on the bubble. I really want to abuse that situation, and that's why I'm pushing. Morricone can call with nothing. Well, nothing is wrong, but with, let's say, ace king and jacks, yeah, that should be his calling range with 15.5 big blinds. And yeah, the other ones can fold easily too, because their stacks allow them to do so. To the bottom right on the button, I decided not to raise it, because in case Shiva re-raises me, I have to mug it. In case My Lady pushes, I have to call, and very often I'm doubling her up, and yeah, therefore I think it's better to mug it there. To the upper right, ace 8 suited. We're on the bubble, but no one is really short, so of course I can abuse the bubble, but it's not the easiest bubble to abuse, and therefore I think I have to call him with ace 8 in case the short stack pushes, because he still can push a wide range here with 6.5 big blinds. And well, if he mucks, that's nice too, because the blinds increase now. And we have 2 short stacks then. And that means I have to push any 2 against the other big stack, because I got him covered. Even when losing, I still have a stack of 2,400 chips left, so I'm not out of the game. And yeah, therefore I think I have to push any 2 cards. To the bottom right, that might be a strange play to you. On the other hand, I don't really like to push, because in case the big blind wakes up, I'm in huge trouble. Raising sucks because I'm out of position, and I don't want to raise call in case the button limp pushes there, and therefore I decided to see a flop and yeah, decide later on what to do, especially because in 6 seconds the blinds increase, meaning that my lady has to pay the higher big blind, and yeah, she will be very, very short, and it's almost like being in the money when not risking too much here, and therefore the situation just does not invite me to raise a push here. It's just a hand where I want to hit and will give up any otherwise. To the bottom left, I'm pushing for 10 big blinds there. That's okay with ace high. Although, yeah, it's okay. It's not the best push, but it's okay. And yeah, to the bottom right, as I mentioned, I want to check this down. And to the upper right again, I'm big stack. Even when losing, I still have a decent stack here with almost 4,000 chips. And yeah, Morricone has to call me very tight. I would say jacks are better at the moment. And here against the big blind, I still have full equity because he's not the shortest at the moment, and therefore I can push 80% here at least. Probably even any 2. Yeah, he called me with 10s, and I'm lucky to catch up. Was that call that bad? Give me a second. I'll use sit and go with it for a second. So I will make the video until the table to the upper right is finished. To the bottom left, small blind completes. I got king high and see a lot of weakness, so I have to ship it. And to the upper right here, as I mentioned, it's the last table, or well, the table I will play till its end, or commentary on till the end. Jack 3, my opponent in the big blind so far, my heads-up opponent so far, he was very tight. Yeah, therefore I decided to push Jack 3. Against someone loose I wouldn't do so, but here I think it was okay. To the bottom right with Ace 5, I have nothing to do in this hand anymore with push and call. And yeah, to the upper right I decided that he's a very tight player, and I wanted to play some flops because I think that I have a certain edge there. Yeah, okay, he bets here on that flop where I have an open-ended straight draw. And you have to keep in mind that I completed pre-flop. What could that mean? It could mean that I'm slow playing a hand. And it tells me as well that it's pretty unlikely that he himself got an ace. So I have an open-ended straight draw. I can represent a strong hand. Looks like a perfect spot for me to say my bluff. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I could take down the... No, I couldn't. And yeah, another weak bet. Yeah, you can either go on representing your monster, so that would mean another re-raise, or just call by odds and see what the river brings. I think when he called you re-raise, it's probably better to just call that minimum bet and hope for you straight. To the bottom right, Jack 9 suited. Yeah, I like to push it there. And just get great equity in case you get called. And yeah, therefore I'm pushing it in those situations. Although I'm not very lucky to lose the flip there against sixes, but okay. And to the upper right on the river I have 1 to 10 outs, although I know that I'm never ahead anymore. But I just wanted to see what kind of hands he would play like that. Bet, call, flop, and min bet all the way. That's important, I think, to know, because you can really adapt to that. King 8. Okay, that's interesting that he calls a re-raise on the flop with mid pair, bottom pair, sorry, and yeah, min bets all the way when having catched up a bit. With ace 10 I tried to raise. We're pretty deep, but it's like an invitation to reshove here, and that's a spot where I have an easy call, because you can reshove hands like Jack 10 suited, ace 5, and so on. Yeah, therefore I think it's probably the best way to play it. And to the bottom left, that UTG push is something we can ignore, and that 4 big blind push get a wide range, and any ace, king 8, a lot of pocket pairs, and yeah, against that I'm ahead with my ace 10 suited, and that's why I'm trying to reshove here. This time I was not that lucky to be ahead, but I think I am very often there. Yeah, to the upper right I was completing a hand again to outplay him post flop. Yeah, easy steal with that continuation bet. And with king deuce one could raise here again. I think a min raise would be better, because I give him a chance to fold his hand pre-flop. Yeah, that's obviously a bad situation. If he raises, I can reshove. But that's something totally new. I think I have to give him credit here. It could be that I'm just drawing to a split pot in case he gets 6 deuce or ace deuce or something. Yeah, and against a 5 I just have, or against any pair, I just have 4 outs for an ace, 8 outs for my open-ended straight draw, and 3 for my king, meaning 9 outs. So I'm a slight underdog. Well, I'm an underdog with 12 outs. It would be about 50-50. So it's probably better to muck here, and I don't think that he's bluffing here very often when risking his whole stack. And even against ace high I just have 9 outs, so that muck is probably better. Yeah, 9-6 one could call, and depending on the hits you can check raise all in. I prefer to fold it pre-flop, and yeah, to the upper right with king 4 I tried to outplay him post-flop again. That's not the best flop in case he donks, because it's possible that he hits something. And to the bottom left, 10-9 suited. It's loose. I like it, because at the moment everyone here has a stack where he can fold a lot of hands. And yeah, therefore I like to push it here. I have a lot of fold equity here on the bubble. No one really likes to call me, so why not do such a push where you have a lot of equity in case you get called. And to the upper right, you've seen him min raising again. I really was thinking about repushing here to re-steal, and to the bottom left against a 5 big blind push. Yeah, ace 5 is good enough in my opinion to call. And yeah, I was running hot. To the upper right, he's tight concerning his calls. And to the bottom left, well, I got 7, so I'm all in. The question is, do I push it pre-flop, or do I play a stop and go, meaning complete now and push on any flop? I thought it's better to push pre-flop, because it's possible that at least 1 or 2 of them fold, so a heads-up pot would be great. Against 2 players that wouldn't be the worst case, because everyone has great odds here at the moment. And therefore I decided to push it pre-flop. And on the other hand, it might be that 2 opponents call me, and then any one of them makes a continuation bet, and then it's a heads-up pot again, where I have more equity than against 2 opponents. But okay. And I'm winning more chips then. That's another advantage. To the upper right, I was stupid enough to get trapped here. He never limped before. He made a min raise all the time. Of course, king 8 suited is plus EV against most ranges, but he min raised all the time, and I was stupid enough to push. Well, my fault. Shit happens. And okay, to the bottom left, the hand will be the last one here. I think it's not that interesting to see the end of that table, or at least the video is long enough now, so should be fine. Okay, thanks for your attention. This was the notes for pokerstrategy.com. I hope you've learned something and had fun watching the video. See ya. Bye bye.